I'm Katie, and this is The Housewife Did It.
True Crime Edition.
Ironically enough, The Housewife rarely does it.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Any thoughts? I don't have any real-time true crime today. Anything?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head that has happened that is a crime.
That is interesting.
That is,
Yeah.
yeah. I always want to say things that I've seen floating around my Facebook that are local,
Yeah.
but there are missing people everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just I can't list all of them. So
yeah. All right, then I will get into it. This week we are talking about Jasmine Fiore. So Jasmine Fiore was born Jasmine Lepore in 1981. Fiore would be the name that she would adopt just for her career.
Mm-hmm.
She was raised by her mother, Lisa Lepore, in Bonnie Doon, California, which is so cute. Bonnie Doon.
Right up there with Buttonwillow.
Yeah, how fun. Rumor has it that that's a pretty small town in California, so she really wanted to get out. As a child, Jasmine loved to play sports and ride horses. As a teen, she began working at a local grocery store. People all around her said that Jasmine always really wanted to be famous and successful. Her uncle, though, said that she was pretty scared at first of moving to the big city. So, this is what she wanted, but that's not, not scary. She was known to be down to earth, friendly, ambitious, and confident. In addition to her grocery store job, Jasmine began modeling as a teenager. By her mid-20s, Jasmine was attending high-end Hollywood events and Playboy's Fun in the Sun pool parties, which, if you know anything about Playboy, is where a lot of people get started, is the Fun in the Sun parties. So, she had entered into that glamorous lifestyle. She was pretty much there. She wasn't a model yet or a Playboy centerfold or anything, but she got to live kind of that life at this point. So she did swimsuit and body paint modeling, as well as advertisements for an adult hotline. She did not work for the adult hotline, on the phone. She just did modeling to advertise for it. Yeah. Although, if she had, still no judgment. The way that the documentaries I watched said it were no worries, she didn't work for the hotline, and it's also fine if she did.
Yeah,
someone did.
You know, the book cover.
Yeah. So she did audition and submit photos to be a Playboy centerfold many times throughout the 2000s. Holly Madison, possibly Hugh Hefner's best-known girlfriend, reminds us that Playboy was incredibly competitive during the 2000s, so doesn't really mean anything negative about Jasmine that she never got the centerfold.
Yeah.
She did, however, get hired as a girl of Playboy Golf, which included modeling, entertaining, and hosting. Jasmine had an on and off boyfriend, Robert Hasman, who she often referred to as the love of her life. Even though they would break up sometimes, she knew that, this is who she was going to end up with.
Yeah.
They always seemed to find their way back to each other. But in the mid-2000s, they broke up for what seemed to be the final time. In 2005, she met and got engaged to Travis Heinrich, I think. They were engaged for less than half a year before they broke it off. However, they did continue dating one another in 2006 and 2007. This does seem to be kind of a pattern that, she dates the people that she already knows, and just, it goes on and off.
Yeah.
Also, by 2006, Jasmine was going between Las Vegas and LA, doing modeling, events, and hosting for Playboy Golf. On March 16th, 2009, Jasmine Fiore met Ryan Jenkins in Las Vegas. He was a wealthy real estate investor from Calgary, Canada, and 2 days later, the two were married in a little white...
I don't feel good about him.
You shouldn't. In a little white wedding chapel on the Strip. When the two met, Ryan had actually just gotten to Vegas straight from filming a VH1 reality show. Ryan was a contestant on Megan Wants a Millionaire. This was a dating show centered around another Playboy model, Megan Hauserman, who was looking for a wealthy husband. In order to be on the show, men had to have a net worth of at least $1 million. In other words, to be a millionaire. Ryan Jenkins' net worth came in at $2.5 million. So great. Awesome. According to Megan herself, she and Ryan really hit it off. In fact, they were messaging each other outside of filming. Obviously, that's not really allowed.
Yeah.
It does give us a picture of how much they liked each other. I will say, don't think that would fly now.
Yeah. Was this like a long-term dating show, like The Bachelorette style, or like a single episode show like The Dating Game?
No, it's like Bachelorette style. So there's like contestants, it's just her, they're dating her, they're going on dates, and then she picks someone at the end to be with.
Okay.
Yep.
So she like actually like got to get to know him.
And yeah, they were like messaging on Facebook outside. So they did know each other, seemingly. Okay. So Megan says that they both knew that she was going to choose him. He felt very confident about this. On the show, Ryan would openly talk about how he would marry her to help him get a green card. I don't know if this was a joke or not. I haven't seen this show, so I don't know how it plays out, like if he seems to be joking. But weird.
What? But I don't know. I'm not trying to judge. But like, you seem to be doing really well in Canada. Maybe you don't have to look.
Yeah.
Also, why does it have to be a Playboy bunny that gets you a green card?
I don't know.
That's like very specific.
Yeah, he might not be doing as well as we think.
Oh, okay.
But who knows by this point, really. Megan also said that Ryan would become incredibly jealous when she spent time with or kissed other men. As we know from watching dating shows, that is pretty normal. Even though they've signed up for that kind of show, they do still tend to get mad. So yeah. I won't judge him too harshly for that fact. When Megan told producers that she was going to pick Ryan, they told her essentially no. They said that he is not a fan favorite, and because they were hoping to make more seasons of the show. Now, I'm assuming when they say more seasons, they don't mean with Megan. So I'm guessing someone else will want a millionaire next time. But they were hoping for this to be a successful show that they could continue, and if she picked someone that the public was not happy with, they did not think that would happen. So
no, people love that.
Right.
People love when reality contestants piss them off.
Yeah, like they couldn't have foreseen, I guess Bachelor was already happening, but like you don't realize the success of After the Final Rose? We want that breakup. Come on now. Like
Vienna and Jake.
Incredible television.
Reality TV gold. Come on.
So on the finale, Megan had to let Ryan go. She was not able to give him any warning for this, mostly just because that would ruin the show. And so he was very shocked and very hurt by her decision, which I also think is, like, understandable. She's been messaging him, telling him that it's him. So this is why
breaking the rules for him.
Yeah, this is why you don't talk outside of filming.
Did she know Jasmine?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. Maybe. Not in the context of this. Maybe saw her at, like, the Sun in the Fun in the Sun. Sun in the Fun.
But, yeah.
But, like, not really.
Okay.
So, he started calling her almost immediately after the show finished filming. But she was with production, and whoever she ended up picking, I think there's probably, like, a little bit of, like, a, we're in Mexico and we're together now scene, you know, like, that, like, they do on Bachelorette.
Yeah.
So she...
This is my fiance.
Yeah.
Where are we married?
Yeah. So, she wasn't able to talk yet, but 2 days later, she was finally able to call Ryan to talk this out with him and tell him what happened. And when she gets on the phone, he tells her he has met the love of his life and gotten married to Jasmine Fiore. Ryan and
Jasmine... Like, oh my god, that girl from the Fun in the Sun party?
Probably. She's like, damn, that's weird. That's suspicious.
It is.
Yeah, you would be right, Megan. So Ryan and Jasmine became a bit of an it couple. He wasn't famous for Megan Wants a Millionaire because it hadn't aired. But he had money and he threw parties. She was connected with some wealthy and well-known people. So they were kind of living the high life. Ryan,
I'm scared to ask this. I feel like you've already said it, but why does he have money?
Real estate investor is his job.
Okay.
And I think, like, maybe, like, a line of real estate investors, like family.
Okay.
So, Ryan would post on his MySpace, just to date this, his MySpace frequently, videos of them on boats, trips, and hotels. There seems, I don't know the source for this, but it seems to be agreed upon, that there was an agreement made between Jasmine and Ryan that Ryan would give her $10,000 a month as, like, a wifely allowance.
We know people who do that.
Yeah, it's also, like, I guess he was, like, prepared. You know, like, if Megan wants a millionaire, like, and that's what he was going for, like, he knows whoever he's, like, marrying would want money from him.
Yeah.
So, the two moved into an apartment together in LA. However, it was not long before their relationship started showing signs of trouble. Say that 5 times fast. Their family and friends noted that they would fight frequently, screaming matches, always. Ryan was incredibly jealous when Jasmine received any attention from other men, which of course was often given her profession.
Yeah. My general rule of thumb is if your husband is giving you an allowance, there's some unhealthiness afoot.
I mean, yeah, I think that, like,
you know,
if that is your agreement from the start, is like, this is what we expect of each other, like, I don't want to have to work, I want you to give me money, then, like, that's fine if you have, like, a surplus.
Yeah. I think there's just something weird about, like, it being a set amount
to
me. Like,
not just, like, buying you whatever you want when you want it.
I feel like if you have one stream of income for your family, then, like, you should have a shared bank account.
You should just spend,
right.
Just
like,
spend his money.
You should have the same access to it that he does, if that is the only way you have money. There's just something, like, icky to me about, like, I have all this money, but you only get this much of it every month, and, like, that's your allowance. And $10,000 is, like, so much a month. Like, I feel like, I don't know what she's buying, but, like, I feel like that's plenty for what she needs. But, like, I don't know, there's something controlling about setting an amount.
Well, and I know it's, like, different. Money is different in 2009, but I actually will push back a little that, like, if you think about, like, this is random, but, like, Tom Sandoval and James, the, like, engagement they paid for. That cost them $25,000. So, like, if he's throwing these parties, like, $10,000 for her is really not a lot. Like, considering the lifestyle they're throwing, that, like, that does probably limit her quite a bit. Like,
well, and, like, thinking about the lifestyle she's used to, like, what I spend my paycheck on, like, maybe she's buying the same kinds of things, but it's not going to be the same brands of things.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, I like, yesterday, I went and bought some stuff for my classroom. I got it all from Dollar Tree.
Mm-hmm.
If she's, like, going to decorate her house, she's probably not getting her stuff at Dollar Tree.
Right.
You know?
It's like...
so everything's a little higher individually.
Yeah. And you'd think, like, handbags can be a couple thousand, shoes can be a couple thousand, and then take out just the stuff part. Like, what if she wants to throw a party? What if she, you know, so like that.
She goes to lunch with her friends.
Yeah, she would be a bit constrained, I guess.
Yeah. It
would be nice, but, and I do think she is still making some money at this time. She's still doing Playboy golf. So, anyway, Ryan, at this point, is no longer throwing parties, buying Jasmine gifts, or even helping to pay for their LA apartment. She is paying for their apartment by herself. It is her apartment, basically.
With the allowance?
No, he's not giving her any money.
money.
The deal is not working. He would tell Jasmine that his money was tied up in Canada or unable to get converted to US dollars. Ultimately, at this point...
I've never been out of the country, but I don't think that's how that works.
What part?
Like, if you have, like, credit cards, can't it all, like, automatically converts?
Yeah, I mean, yes. I guess, like, maybe if he's trying to give her $10,000, he can't take it out of a bank, is what he's saying. Mm-hmm. Or, like, if you pay rent, a lot of the time it's not just, like, a swiping of a card. It's, like, a check or something. So, like, I mean, I think he is lying, but I think that, like, it's maybe a little different than just, like, spending the card.
Yeah.
So, ultimately, at this point, Ryan is not holding up his end of the deal, but also is having Jasmine use her own money for their entire lifestyle. Ryan's jealousy, though, was not completely unfounded, although it did get out of hand. Jasmine was still close with many of her exes and did hook up with them from time to time. Although, she knew this man for 2 days.
Like, hook up, like, have sex with them? Or, like, link up?
Like, have sexual interactions with them. Like, I don't know what kind of sex took place or, like, if they just made out or what. But, like, hook up sexually, yes.
That's not good.
No, It's probably why you should, like, really fall in love before you marry someone, though.
Well, I thought it was funny that you said, like, it was a pattern for her to, like, go back to who she's familiar with. And then, like, you're like, and then she married a man she had known for 2 days. And I was like, doesn't seem like she's familiar.
But then she keeps hooking up with her exes.
Yeah.
So, 3 months after they got married, Jasmine and Ryan were at a pool party, and Ryan saw her kissing another man. Which is kind of weird, just, like, at the party with your husband.
Yeah.
But whatever, girl. Yeah, it's not where I would do it.
Yeah, if I was cheating on my husband, I wouldn't maybe cheat on him in front of him.
But Ryan...
That's good advice.
Yeah. Take it or leave it, you know?
I feel like I give a little sprinkle of advice every episode. Yeah. Last time it was like, if you're gonna commit a crime, just steal. Don't murder. Today it's, if you're gonna cheat on your husband, don't do it while he's there.
Yeah. So Ryan got very angry and threw Jasmine into the pool. Jasmine did press charges, and he did get a year of probation. For domestic violence, I guess.
I don't think I've ever heard of anyone pressing charges after being pushed into a pool.
I don't think he, like, I think he, like, pushed her, like,
yeah.
And then she went in the pool. Like, I don't think it was like a,
yeah.
So.
I know. It just sounds odd.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Apparently, Ryan also had some domestic violence charges in Canada as well, and had previously attended therapy for a sex addiction. Jasmine had confided in people about how angry her husband would get at her, and she eventually stopped showing up to all Playboy events. Which I think happens, you know.
Yeah.
As payback, Ryan began cheating on Jasmine as well. He would bring women back to their shared apartment and sleep with them in their bed when he knew that Jasmine would be home soon. I want to reiterate that Jasmine is fully paying for this apartment. So, she threatened Ryan with an annulment, which caused him to panic. Probably because he wants a green card. Or doesn't want to lose the green card he maybe has already gotten at this point. Okay. So, while he's panicking, Ryan starts texting Megan Hauserman that marrying Jasmine was a mistake, that she's, like, awful, all of this stuff. So they actually end up meeting up in June for dinner. Megan?
This is, like, hold on. Can I give my hot take for a second? I think I keep forgetting the, like, green card, and also he probably doesn't really have money thing. And so I'm like, why would you, like, sleep with someone to get back at her? Like, just ask for a divorce. Like, that's your getting back. Like, move on with your life. And so I guess, like, in a way why he stayed married to her. But if you want those things so badly, maybe, like, be nice to her. Do what she likes or what she wants so that you can stay married to her.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Like, why are you being so ugly? Like, and awful.
Yeah.
Like, of course she's gonna leave you.
Like, it seems like if you aren't able to provide her the money that was a part of your deal, at least provide her, like, love and affection.
Yeah. Like, if you want her to keep providing you
money. Yeah. So at this dinner, Megan said that Ryan looked rough. She said he was thinner, he was pale, he was shaky, and he seemed paranoid, like looking around. Strange. So Megan immediately makes it clear to him that she's not interested in picking things back up with him. And she, like, says in an interview that this basically was upon seeing him. She was like, no, he looks rough. I'm out. Weird.
She's like, I'm not gonna date a crackhead.
Yeah. So he told Megan that Jasmine was ruining his life, but that he doesn't want her to leave him, so he's looking for a way to win her back. He thinks that the answer to this will be money. It is interesting to me that he would admit that, but not, like, explain to Megan why money is a problem. Like,
also, like, what does that have to do with Megan?
Well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe he did want to get back together, but then when he realized they weren't, he was like, shit, I guess I gotta win Jasmine back.
Yeah.
But, yeah, but, like, you just admitted to the girl that you went on her show, Megan Wants a Millionaire, that you are losing your wife and the answer will be having money. So, like, do you want to explain to her how you don't have money? That's weird.
Yeah, it seems like a simple fix.
Yeah.
To a millionaire.
So, Megan suggests that he go on a competition show called I Love Money. So, Ryan...
No, that's not real.
So, Ryan did go on I Love Money, and he did very well. He was very smart and strategic. He won a lot of the challenges, and production even made a lot of jokes and, like, incorporated into the storyline how obsessed he was with his wife and, like, that he wanted to win this money for her. And that, you know, like, if someone's on Big Brother and they're like, I want to win this for my family, you're like, oh, that's so cute. So, like, that probably was like, aw, cute.
He's, like, shaking when he said, he's like, I want to win this for my wife because it's the only way she'll let me stay.
Yeah. Ryan,
like, he loves his wife.
Yeah, how sweet. Ryan did end up winning the show. And $250,000, which I will say, to someone worth 2.5 mil, that should be chump change. Yeah. But whatever. He is able to bring this money back to Jasmine, and by the looks of things, their relationship starts to improve. Mm-hmm. On August 3rd, 2009, Megan Wants a Millionaire begins airing on VH1. This means that Ryan is going to start being recognized. Mm-hmm. But the posts of their happy lives together continued or like picked back up after he brought home money. This is obviously quite different than today where you could not post about a new relationship while a dating show is airing that you're a contestant on. So like that's a little weird to me.
Would he get royalties from Megan Wants a Millionaire?
I don't really know how that works anyway.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how that works with like Bachelorette and stuff as like a contestant.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird to me that he's like allowed to just like post that he has a wife so you like know he's not the one she picks. Weird.
Yeah. Or at least know it doesn't work out.
Yeah. Good God, if they can find your dates of your marriage, they're going to be confused. So on August 13th, about 10 days later, Jasmine and Ryan, about 10 days after it starts airing, so probably at this point like 1 or 2 episodes will come out. Mm-hmm. On August 13th, Jasmine and Ryan went to San Diego for a charity poker tournament. This is where a timeline with timestamps is going to start. Mm-hmm. They arrive... Yes. A stamped timeline. They arrive around 3:28 p.m. to the hotel, and you can see them loading their luggage onto a cart. Cameras show them leaving their room in nice clothes around 6:25 p.m. So... Okay, cameras show them leaving their room in nice clothes around 6:25 p.m., presumably headed for this poker tournament. Okay. There are reports that the two began arguing later on in the night while at the poker tournament. They eventually left and went to a nightclub called the Ivy. According to Jasmine's phone records, you thinking if you've been to the Ivy, Mary?
It sounds so familiar. I feel like they've talked about it on Vanderpump Rules or something.
Maybe. I mean, they're in San.
I definitely haven't been there. No, yeah. But it just sounds really familiar. Okay.
According to Jasmine's phone.
No, I think I'm thinking of the Abbey. Sorry.
Oh yeah. The Abbey. According to Jasmine's phone records, she had been texting her ex-boyfriend Robert Hasman, the love of her life guy that we thought was ended for good, all throughout the night. She was texting him and saying that she did not want to be with Ryan and asking Robert to come pick her up in his plane. Which, like, yo husband ain't worth shit, and this man can come pick you up in his plane? Yeah, I bet you are texting him all night. Yeah. This is what you signed up for.
You could just text your ex and be like, pick me up in your plane. You don't need no man to give you $10,000 a month.
No.
That's silly.
Come on now. But the last text sent to Robert from Jasmine's phone said, quote, "Suck it." It is assumed that Jasmine did not send that text. And that
I'm sure she did.
And that Ryan, at that point, had found her texting Robert. Mm-hmm. Which is probably why they were seen fighting at the poker tournament. Both of them were seen getting into Jasmine's white Mercedes at 2:30 a.m. At 4:30 a.m., Ryan Jenkins is seen on camera running through the hotel to his room, to their room.
Literally running?
Mm-hmm. So yes, he is seen running through the hotel to their room at 4:30 a.m. Between this time and the time that he would later be seen leaving the hotel, around 9:30, Ryan...
Alone?
Huh?
Alone?
Yes. Ryan was seen a few different times on video between 4:30 and 9:30. He was seen carrying around the phone from their hotel room, like like a home phone.
Like just the receiver, or like the whole system?
Just the receiver. I thought it was the whole thing, but I think it was just that part.
Like he's running through the lobby, like with like holding together a like rotary dial phone.
I thought he was, but then I looked at the video and he's holding the phone part and then the ice bucket, which I'll get to in a second. So he's carrying the phone.
I said I see why he's running now.
I guess. So on video, he's seen carrying the phone, or the actual calling part of the phone. Then the ice bucket. And he's going down the hall, presumably to get ice. But he places the phone on top of an armoire, like a tall thing, out in the hallway.
In the lobby?
Just in the hallway. They were in a ground level room that did have a patio door that led out to the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
At 6:30 on August 14th, so 6:30 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Before he leaves at 9:30. So this is another sighting on the camera. Ryan Jenkins is seen carrying all of his belongings piled up in his hands. His clothes, hangers. Mm-hmm.
I knew somebody was gonna end up in a suit.
Yeah. So
as soon as you said they unloaded the hotel, I was like, she's gonna be in that suitcase, I feel like.
Yeah. So instead of carrying his belongings out in his luggage, he's just piled a bunch of clothing and hangers in his arms. He does return to the room and leave a few more times. One time around 7 a.m., he walks back into the hotel in different clothing, so the assumption is that he walked out to his car where he had just put all his clothes, changed in the car, and then came back in. Which could have been on purpose, but it also could have been fuck, I took my clothes out too soon, and now I need a different shirt. And so I gotta go back to the car. So, I don't know.
I wish I had a suitcase.
That would have been nice. So then Ryan leaves the hotel completely empty-handed around 9:30 a.m. He is seen on parking garage surveillance returning to his LA apartment around 5 p.m. that day.
He left the suitcase?
San Diego is only 2 hours from LA. He left the hotel at 9:30 and he did not get home to LA till 5 p.m. That's a damn lot of errands, my friend.
Okay.
When he enters the parking garage on the surveillance camera, he is on foot. Not in his car. Or her car, I guess, because that's what they took.
Mm-hmm.
Shortly after, he comes back down to the parking garage with a suitcase. A different suitcase.
Okay.
Loads it into his car and drives off.
Okay.
On August 15th, Ryan starts texting Jasmine's friends asking where she was. He said that they had had a great weekend in San Diego, had returned home, and she left again to go run errands. He said she had not been home since, but he feels like she might be avoiding coming home just to spite him. Yeah, stupid.
Okay.
Whatever. He then reports her missing to police around 9 p.m., stating that he had not seen her since 8.
The day after he got back?
Mm-hmm. He reports her missing at 9 that day, saying he had not seen her since 8:30 the night before. So presumably, according to his storyline, he got home around 5 with her, although she wasn't on surveillance. Then she went to go run errands. Maybe that's why he had to walk and she took her car. I don't know. But how he saw her again at 8:30, I'm not sure. But he says he saw her again at 8:30 and then she never came back. So police at that point had asked him to come into the station just to talk about finding his wife. At this point, they have no reason to believe anything has happened to her. And he said he could not do that because he was planning to go to Canada that day. Which is weird.
You hate Canada so much. You had to marry the first Playboy bunny you saw to get out of there.
Yeah.
Or second Playboy bunny you saw, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say the first one that would marry you. On that same day, though, around 7 a.m. in Buena Park, California, so he reports her missing at 9 p.m., at 7 a.m. in a different city, a man was walking his dog and went to throw something away in an apartment complex dumpster, and he saw a suitcase with some sort of liquid coming out of it. It was blood. He opened up the suitcase and found what he actually initially thought was the body of a child. But it was the naked...
In a suitcase, I would think that too.
It was the naked and severely beaten body of a woman. Her face had been injured beyond the point of recognition, and her teeth and fingertips had been removed.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go for it, girl.
You have to say yes. I'm always like really confused on how this worked. If there was blood coming out of the suitcase, does that mean that she was still alive when she was put in it?
I don't think necessarily. I mean, if you're super badly beaten, there's blood all over your body. It's in your hair. It doesn't dry immediately.
It makes it, cool.
Yeah. I mean, I would...
Like, she wouldn't keep bleeding after she died?
No. I mean, like, if there's, like, gaping wounds, like, what is already open would, like, probably just keep going.
Okay.
I will say it is a little confusing when he says, like, a liquid is coming out. Like, I think it would have hardened by that point, but it could be, although I don't know by this point, but it could be, like, other liquids combining with the dried blood.
I even decomposition just, fluid. Like, looking at the suitcase, like, you can see, like,
it's dark
drip marks.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Even though the victim had been beaten very severely, including a broken nose, her cause of death was able to be identified as strangulation. Because of the missing fingertips and teeth, investigators worried that they may not be able to ID this person, which was obviously the murderer's intention. But as the pathologist was looking over her body and doing the autopsy, they discovered that the victim had breast implants. Upon removing these, they found a serial number which led them to the manufacturer, which led them to a specific hospital, which eventually led them to which patient these breast implants belonged to.
I love that. I love when something like that happens.
I know.
Stupid man. You thought. You thought so hard. And you thought so stupid. And you lose.
So, of course, they identified that the victim whose body was found in that suitcase was Jasmine Fiore. Now, again, this happened at 7. He doesn't report her missing till 9, but, like, these are in separate cities, so they're not, like, linking these right now. And probably she wasn't, like, identified by that point. I'm sure that took...
Yeah, it takes some time to get...
an autopsy.
For that change to happen.
Yeah, and to, track down serial numbers.
They were like, oh, my God, these serial numbers, can you confirm? No, not that.
It is reported that a rape kit was conducted on Jasmine, where semen was found. You'll have to work through this with me, okay? This belonged to a man named Michael Cardosi, who turned out to be Jasmine's ex-husband. He had just been released from prison on August 11th, 2 days before Jasmine and Ryan went to San Diego for the poker tournament. And there are photos that show that Jasmine and Michael had met up at his release from prison. They are seen hugging, kissing, having romantic moments. This did make him a suspect for a bit, as you can imagine. But he ended up having a solid alibi for the time that Jasmine was murdered, as he was on house arrest with an ankle monitor in a different city. So, yeah. So I think the
Where was
presumption...
he seen on surveillance then?
He wasn't seen on surveillance. His semen was found.
I thought you said that they were seen, kissing, hugging.
When he first was released from prison, there were photos of them. So, before he had gone home.
She picked him up.
Yeah, there was someone else there, but yes, she met him when he came out.
Okay.
Now, here's where my confusion comes in. I guess, okay, so he's let out on August 11th, and they go to the poker tournament on the 13th. And I guess she could have stayed at his house on the 12th, even on the morning of the 13th, and had sex with him. But then, presumably, she is not murdered until the early morning hours of the 14th. So, would his semen remain there for for almost 48 hours?
Yeah.
It would?
Oh, I was saying, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean...
no, I was going to ask the same question. I don't know. To be honest.
It almost just feels like, well, it must be true, because obviously he wasn't in San Diego because he had an ankle monitor on that tracked where he went. So, I don't... it must be, but it is, weird, I think. I don't know. But again, I guess if, maybe she woke up with him on the 13th even, and then she's basically killed, like I said, the wee morning hours of the 14th, that would be, it could be, less than 24, I guess.
Yeah. Or, no, never mind. What I was going to say doesn't make sense. Ignore me.
So I don't know. That's what they tell me. But I'm just a reporter.
That's what I heard anyway.
3 days went by with no word or response from Ryan Jenkins. Police found Jasmine's white Mercedes on August 19th in a parking lot in West Hollywood. Inside the car, there was ample evidence that a struggle took place there. Jasmine's...
In the car?
Mm-hmm. Jasmine's blood was found throughout the vehicle, along with clumps of her hair. In fact, there was a pool of blood that indicated that the suitcase was placed in the back seat for a time period. Which just seems really stupid, dude. The only person who would have had access to her car other than her... And, okay. But he hid it somewhere.
And one person who was there with the suitcase and brought all their clothes out in his hands.
Yeah. Come on, man. But he hid the car, I guess, thinking maybe no one would ever find it or identify it as hers. Or, I guess in his mind, if no one ever identifies her body, why would they look for her car? But, if they found her car, they can probably test that hair and that blood. And then they would start looking for her.
I I would hate to say, I love any part of, a true crime thing, but, the, thinking about it in the terms of, the, justice that I'm hoping will be received, I am getting so much enjoyment out of knowing that, he really, thought that he had planned so well. He really thought, that he was going to cover it up and get away with it, and how it's obviously awful that this happened, but it did happen, and so how lucky that he was so incredibly stupid that we now know exactly what happened to her.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just is obvious. I don't know, it's sad, of course.
Yeah. No,
I wish it didn't happen at all. But it's
silver lining.
There's there's some sweet
justice,
sweet revenge feeling of knowing that he tried so hard, removing someone's teeth and fingerprints completely. He really tried so hard and still got caught.
Yeah.
Stupid.
He's like so many things, like Ryan is a monster because like this is clearly something that even if he didn't plan it the entire time, he put thought into making sure he didn't get caught. He's also, whether it was good or not, he's also an idiot, but he is also a coward. Like he is just like really, really scummy, like all around. So police did something unusual in this case when they decided to charge Ryan with murder without conducting an interview or having ever spoken to him. Not only were they feeling pretty confident about Ryan's involvement at this point, but the urgency was growing because every moment that they could not find Ryan, he could have been leaving the country. So, an international manhunt was fully underway at this point.
Catch that Canadian.
So before we get to the ending, I'm going to talk a little more about some of the other evidence that police had against Ryan that may have led them to feel so confident. In addition to the blood evidence in the car that indicated that a struggle of some sort took place inside, there was also blood and hair clumps on the patio outside of their hotel room. Based on the CCTV footage from the hotel, we continue to see Ryan Jenkins all the way until checkout, but we do not see Jasmine again on that camera returning to or leaving the hotel anytime after they leave for the poker tournament. We also never see their suitcase again after they first checked in. We do see them, obviously, placing the luggage on the cart at the beginning, and the suitcase from that original video is the suitcase that Jasmine Fiore was found in. You can tell from the video that it is the same suitcase. So, really just genius right off the bat, Ryan. It does make me wonder, though, like, does he not think that the hotel had cameras? Like, so much of the problem here is that he was on camera. They saw you bring in the suitcase. They saw you leave without the suitcase. Like, you didn't think that was weird, but, like, did he not think they had cameras?
I don't know. And I feel like, again, like, on one hand, he's, like, trying to plan hard enough that he's like, I have to remove all of her teeth. I have to cut off her fingertips. Like, but, like, not even... I don't know. Like, a part of me feels like in that kind of headspace, like, you're not thinking, like, oh, shit, what if the lobby has cameras? But, like, he was thinking so carefully about everything else.
Yeah, but it is very...
You know, how do you not consider?
Yeah, but it seems like the things he thought about were very after the fact. Like, oh, fuck, I just did this. I need to remove anything that can identify her because I'm her husband. But also, I have no way around that I did this, and I got to get her out somehow, so it's got to go in the suitcase. Like, I guess that was, like, inevitable. Like, what else are you going to do? Carry a dead body out? No. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Between the early morning hours of the 14th and the 15th, when Ryan reported his wife missing, there were lots of texts. So he reported her missing on the 15th. Whatever. There were a lot of texts going between Ryan and Jasmine's phones. They were mostly related to running errands and, like, regular things, because he said she was running errands. So this obviously allowed Ryan to say that she was still alive when they left San Diego, but that she left to run errands and just didn't return. I also think that obviously Jasmine's texts to Robert Hasman quickly shifting from please come pick me up to suck it is a very clear indication that Ryan found something on Jasmine's phone that he did not like and could even show us the exact moment that changed the course of the evening.
It makes you wonder, like, if he beat her that severely for, like, one cheating situation and, like, we know she was cheating on him, like, what had he been doing when he found out those things leading up to this?
Yeah. And, like, for all we know, he could have found multiple things out that night. Like, he's yelling at her about Robert, and maybe she's like, oh, I just fucked my ex-husband Michael, too. Like, it may have turned into, like, a verbal argument, and she said, like, they both said things, and she just, like, made him more upset. So, So the theory goes that Jasmine was attacked inside of her car, probably based on Ryan's jealousy. She was then so badly beaten that Ryan could not bring her back through the hotel lobby to their room, whether that is literally because she could not do it, or I think more than likely it's because why would you want to bring your bloody and bruised wife, even if she can walk, through the lobby? You're going to be like, no.
Yeah.
So the theory is that he then attempted to enter through the back patio door with her. However, it is likely locked from the outside, which would explain why around 4:30 a.m. Ryan was running through the hotel room very quickly. He probably had to get to their room, pull her in from inside the room before anyone could see an injured person on his patio. In addition, the blood on the ground of the patio supports the idea that she was placed there momentarily while Ryan ran through the hotel to get to their room. It is believed that at this time Jasmine was still alive. Neighbors to their hotel room would say that they heard loud arguing that night, or I guess early morning. When Ryan leaves the room to go down the hallway to get ice, it is strange that he is carrying the hotel room phone, unless you think that she is still alive in their room, in which case he would not want her to have access to the phone. You seem skeptical.
No, I just, like, I think, like, if I were him, I would argue that running with the phone in the ice was, like, to get her help. But
Okay, yeah.
I'm not, thankfully.
Yeah.
And I like, I think that would be a stretch, but
Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
So I will say, when he's going with the ice and the phone, he is leisurely. He is just walking, just slowly. But I will say, like you're saying, in one of the sources that I watched, they did speculate that him going to get ice could be a sign of remorse. Like, he feels bad, wants to mend things with her, so maybe he's going to get ice to help her injuries.
Yeah.
I don't know about this. I mean, maybe, I guess. It does seem like a bit of a stretch to me. I don't know, like, you've beaten someone, so I guess I don't know at what point her nose is broken and stuff, but, like, you've beaten someone so badly that their face is going to be beyond recognition. The ice from the ice machine is not going to help.
Yeah. I think it's a stretch to say he was remorseful.
Yeah.
But I really don't know what else the ice could be for, like, for his own hands.
Yeah.
Or something. That's my only thought, but I doubt it had anything to do with him feeling bad.
Yeah.
And if it was for her, maybe more of, like, a feeling of necessity, like, that's just what you do when someone's hurt.
Yeah. I don't know. For some reason, for me, it feels like maybe, I know this doesn't make any sense either, but, like, maybe he just wanted to, like, leave the room for a second and, like, needed to look like he was going to do something. So he was taking the ice bucket, because otherwise you're just pacing, and, like, thought that would look normal, or maybe he even thought, like, I'll be on camera. Although, if that's what you thought, carrying your hotel room phone around at 5 a.m. is not gonna look normal.
Yeah.
So, and putting it on top of the armoire. Like, it's one thing if you just, like, have it, whatever, but, like, he literally set it up there while he went to get the ice, and actually what I thought is so interesting is he never picked it back up. They found it, like, days later, still sitting on that. And, like, why? That is so weird.
I feel like, what year is this? 2009?
2009.
2009. Could you use a phone that was out? Could you, like, you couldn't use it. So, like, I think that, I don't know. I think there's, like we said, there's so many things that he, like, planned, but, like, so many things that he just didn't even think about. Like, I think it's odd if that was something he considered, like, I have to get the phone away from her. And then carrying it through, like, the whole entire hotel, like, what, like, yeah, what are people gonna think? It's not like you were gonna use it.
I guess he could have pretended if he walked past someone. But yeah, I don't really get... I do think it is probably she was still alive and he knew that she could call 911. I will say, and this is kind of a question, but, like, could you not still dial it and it would, like, still call? You just obviously couldn't speak into it, but, like, couldn't... and at least they would have 911 call coming from... Also, can't you put it on speaker? Like, hit speaker?
Well, that's what I was saying about, like, him taking the phone is, I think for, like, a landline, I think they have to be within a certain amount of space of each other.
Oh, and I guess the buttons could be on... I forget the buttons are sometimes on the phone. Yeah. Not on the...
So, like, that's what I was saying about, like, it's weird that, like, I don't know what he thought people were going to think carrying it through the lobby, because it's not like he could use it that far away from his room.
Yeah.
Also, though, if she was, like the people who said that they heard arguing, if even from the hotel room, like, leaving her alone outside, like...
Couldn't she scream?
Yeah, like, I was...
Maybe she can't run, but, like...
it surprised me that someone heard arguing, because I feel like it might have been, like, painful to talk, and so then it, like... So then, yeah, it makes me wonder, like, could she have yelled or something? Like, even when he leaves the room, if they could hear arguing, maybe could they hear her if she did try to yell?
Yeah, I mean, I will say, I've thought about that, like, when they heard arguing, like, what if they only heard Ryan? Like, what if he's just, like, screaming as he's hurting her, or just screaming at her, just, like, berating her? Like... Or maybe they're hearing crying from her, wailing from her, like, but I do find it hard. Again, I don't know when her nose was broken, but I do find it hard to believe that you're, like, using your energy to, like, have an argument when, like, your nose is broken and you're hurt. But again, like, we don't know how far the physical violence went in the car. We just, like, know that it did. But
yeah, I do wonder if they either heard only him, like, yelling at her as he was strangling her or something, or if they only heard her yelling,
and they thought, like, it was arguing, but it was yeah. So it is assumed that sometime between 5 and 9:30 a.m., because he was seen coming back around 4:30, blah blah blah, 9:30 he leaves, Ryan strangled Jasmine, removed her fingers and teeth in an attempt to avoid her being identified, and then stuffed her into their suitcase. He would have moved the suitcase to the car from that back patio exit, because, as we saw on camera, he doesn't leave with the suitcase. After the police had an arrest warrant for Ryan and were searching far and wide for him, Ryan was planning his great escape. So, the police find out that Ryan has a storage unit in Las Vegas where he kept his boat. So they go to check it, and when they arrive, the boat was already gone. His car with a boat trailer attached were discovered at a boat ramp in Blaine, Washington, which is a city that sits right on the Canadian border. Or it sits on water that sits right on the Canadian border. Ryan was not in the car, and the boat was missing from the boat trailer. He had taken off in his speedboat in the dead of night into the open water, headed for the Canadian border. Authorities were following his boat for a little bit, but they eventually lost him. He parked at a marina and then took off on foot, which is how he then crossed the Canadian border. His half-sister picked him up once he had made it in a car. She picked him up in a car and drove him to the Thunderbird Motel, where she helped check him in to a motel room. On August 23rd, the motel owner went into the motel room that had been rented out for Ryan by him and his half-sister because they were due to check out that day, and he went inside to find that Ryan Jenkins had hanged himself using his own belt. Yeah. So I guess justice was served in some way, but what a coward.
Yeah.
So, on his laptop, police found a one-page document titled Last Will and Testament, which was actually much more like a suicide note, kind of. He just talked about how Jasmine is or was a monster. He blamed her for his emotions and behaviors because she had cheated on him. He does not, though, mention her murder or her death or even that she is missing in this note. Do you think that the half-sister knew? Like, do you think she was just picking him up because he needed help, or do you think she knew exactly why she was picking him up?
My first thought actually was, I feel like he's fucking his half-sister. I don't know. I mean, I don't know enough about her, but I think she probably knew.
She had to know he was running from something, you know?
Yeah, well, and I feel like at that point she had to know, like, his wife was at least missing.
Yeah.
And it was like, why are you running away? Like, I don't know. Like, even if he didn't, like, outwardly tell her, like, if it were me, I would be like, your wife is missing and you're running for your life. Like, that's,
weird.
Not normal.
So, after news breaks of Jasmine's murder and Ryan's suicide, the show Megan Wants a Millionaire got pulled. Only 3 episodes had aired, and then they just stopped, and no one ever saw the ending. The competition show the competition show that Ryan had won, I Love Money, never aired. Looking back, Megan Hauserman is able to recognize red flags from Jenkins that she had kind of ignored before. I didn't write this down, but I will say Ryan was not a millionaire. He never was a millionaire. His family had some money, I guess. It's unclear really how he was throwing those parties to begin with. Maybe he did have some money saved up, but apparently Megan Wants a Millionaire and VH1, although they said they ran a background check and verified the money, they clearly did not.
I was going to say that, yeah. Because they couldn't have verified his net worth.
Yeah. So clearly they did not, or they did not well, because he was not worth $2.5 million and he had domestic violence charges. So they would have found that had they run that background check. Jasmine Fiore was working on her real estate license, and she did not plan to do modeling forever. And she is remembered as someone with great ambitions who would have gone on to do really great things. So, how do we feel about the police theory? Is there anything you would change? Anything you're not buying?
No, I think that it all like comes together and makes sense. I don't know. It is just sad.
It's just like crazy to think. I mean, I know it happens, but I like don't picture, and I guess we don't know this to be true, but like I don't picture like one-time killers being the ones that would like take your teeth and your fingers. You know, like that seems like serial killer behavior.
Yeah. But when you said that, I was like, that's, I feel like abnormal even for like a husband.
Yeah.
To do.
Yeah.
And I do think like we've heard like one-time killers who do something like that, like or at least like suspected one-time killers. Like I was thinking of like the Black Dahlia. Like we don't know who killed her, but like she's the only case like that that I think we know of with those specifics. But like, yeah, I thought that was weird when you said that. Like, I don't feel like that happens a lot when the husband has done it. Also just like, I can't imagine like murdering my spouse or anyone for that matter. But like,
that's a really brutal thing to have to do.
Yeah.
When you're like not a trained killer, to have to break out
hold
teeth,
your wife's mouth open and rip out all of her teeth, like, ugh.
Yeah.
None of it's good, but like,
yeah.
I think there's a reason we don't hear about spouses doing that typically to one another.
Yeah. And I think, like, it almost makes, like, more sense, right? Like, if you're a serial killer and you killed a stranger, like, if they're not even if they're identified, like, you have no connection with them.
Yeah.
So, like, it does make sense that he thought, they can't know it was her, or else they're going to link it to me. We were together. It's also, like, you left her body in between San Diego and LA, my guy. Like, what the fuck? But I digress. He just really didn't think about the breast implants. So, thank God for the breast implants, but it is just like, it's like incredibly morbid for something that seems like a crime of passion, kind of like a freak thing that happened. But I think it just shows us that, like, this man was on the verge of extreme violence all the time.
Yeah.
And that's all it took.
About it, like, when we talk about, like, murder cases, a lot of times we use, like, phrasing like personalize or depersonalize, and especially like when it is like a spouse, like there are things that we don't see spouses do because it like repersonalizes and like reminds you like I'm married to this person, like I'm supposed to love this person. And so like I think that's what makes it so crazy, is that he could sit there and individually cut off all our fingertips and take all our teeth out, like, and like just continued with it and like went on with everything, and like it just like it makes it seem so much worse that like there was not a single moment, it seems like, where he was like, oh my God, like what did I do, like this is my wife.
And he like immediately starts covering his tracks by texting her phone, like it's gross. But yep. So my sources mostly were the series The Playboy Murders. Only one episode was about Jasmine Fiore, so I highly suggest you watch that series if you want to hear about lots of... So it's on Investigation Discovery, so either wherever Live TV or Discovery Plus has it. I don't have Discovery Plus. But so I used that, and then YouTube videos from Eleanor Neal. And then some other things that I'll put in the show notes. Just some links. So, any final thoughts?
This man is gross.
Yeah. I'm just, like, actually... I mean, not that they have much of a choice, but, like, I'm actually just, like, so glad. The whole time I was researching this, I was like, why have I never seen these shows? Like, why can't I find them anywhere? And everyone that does this case has never said, like, oh, I got to watch the clip. And I'm like, why has no one watched these shows that he's on? But then I'm like, oh, that's why. But also, like, I'm so glad that, like, he was never put on TV again. Yeah. So, good riddance. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll be back. It's Mary's turn again next week. And, yep. Bye.
Bye.